I'm switching up on you guys. So Shiatani represents the transition from pictorialism to the modern style of photography in Japan. This is what I wanted to talk about. So we have a distinct difference in what type of framework we're using for photography in Japan, and this transition highlighted particularly by Shiatani and by this work. Um, and by his influence. So we have artists, photographers that mentored or were influenced by Shiatani, one in particular being Ueda, and he did, in fact, do work in the modernist sphere. He was a modern photographer in Japan. He was mentored by Shiatani and heavily inspired by him, and you can see in his work his influence, even though he does not work in the pictorialist style. So I feel like these works are important. This work in particular is important in highlighting the shift in Japan, and I think that's what makes it so vital to a theme, an exhibition theme such as this. An Afternoon on the Mountain, as we can see, it works in this very flat style. It has a very flat and large blocks of color to it. So it does work with this sort of bending of traditional Japanese art, which is common in Japanese modern art, and this kind of surrealism, which is also common of Japanese modern art, and of the remaining pictorialist influence from the graininess, the blur of it, the sort of dreamlike quality of it. So this piece really shows a transitionary moment in time. It encapsulates this shifting of one method that is preferred, that is common, that is used, that is seen as a high artistic value, to another, which is that modern art and that modern creativity. Um, the importance of this in the Global Modernisms exhibition, as I've spoken about briefly already, is that it shows sort of the difference in modern art, just as we've said, like the American modern art looks different from our Native American modern art, from our Pueblo, our Papunya, our um, it looks different, all of it. This is such a good example and a lead into what Japanese modern art becomes, and it shows influences of what is happening before in the avant-garde scene in Japan, coming into this new modern aesthetic. It really is vital and important. This piece, I really just love this piece, and part of why I want to put this in this writing in this collection, if it were an actual like exhibition, is because I really have a personal draw to it. It reminds me of a lot of books that I've read. I'm a big fan of Haruki Murakami, not the like what is it, like comics, but like the author, the old man author who gets called misogynistic all the time. I don't want to go into that, but it gives me the same feeling as a lot of his written work does, and I feel like that is so cool to have something that I feel so strongly connected to, and it would make sense too given the time period, um, because to have work of this age and this time, it would co-align pretty well with the work that Murakami was doing and that he's writing about mostly in his books. Specifically, if you read Norwegian Wood, he has it's set in the 60s in Japan, and this would have been something predating that, something around the time that the main character was maybe born, or like right before it was born. So it's an aftermath of this artistic transition and transition of thought, really. So I have a personal connection to it, but other than that, I do think it does on paper fit the theme.